How can we as a society overcome divisions? And what role does journalism have to play, if at all? That's the theme of this year's Global Media Forum coming up in June. And in these videos, we're getting the conversation started. Our first guest is Javier Garza Ramos, a Mexican journalist whose work bridges local journalism and global press freedom issues. Javier, interest in news is declining worldwide, according to the latest digital media report by the Reuters Institute. So how do you go about reaching people in your work?
Well, that's the challenge, I guess. I think trust is one thing and news fatigue is another. And they are not necessarily come from the same origin. The loss of trust in news, I think, is more a function of political polarization and the formation of these bubbles that people go into, in which we only seek, things that we want to hear, right? Or points of view that we agree with, or the news that we just want to learn about, instead of being exposed to the whole array that is going on. News fatigue, of course, is just, being fed up with so much information going on. But there is a point of connection between both. And I think that both come from the immense amount of sources, that there is to get news right now, as opposed to what it was 20 years ago or 30 years ago, not to mention 50 years ago. So I think my main challenge is to how to establish myself in my community, because I do local journalism, as a trusted voice, as a trusted outlet, in which people can say that my outlet is something that they can trust to get information, but at the same time, that it is not something that is going to overwhelm them and burden them with a lot of information. Just give them what they are going to need.
And how do you strike that balance?
Going more in depth rather than just, trying to put out everything as breaking news. I think we have abused a lot of the concept of breaking news. Not everything is. An earthquake is a natural disaster. A war is breaking news. In local news, a big accident, that affects a lot of people in a crowded part of the city, that is breaking news. But we don't have to start feeding people everything that's happening necessarily in real time. Also because they don't have the time for it. So we need to digest it, and we need to do a lot of the work for them, because they have a lot of places that they can choose from that, they need to sort of orient themselves to a place where they know that they are going to get it easily, in a way that they can understand, and in a way that is also going to help them figure out why it matters to them, why they should be knowing that stuff.
So what would you say global media companies can learn from local media organizations when it comes to restoring trust and engaging people in news stories?
I think they need to do a better job in trying to figure out why I need to know that, why I need to know the piece of news that you are giving me. And I think that sometimes big media gets too wrapped up in their own analysis of a situation. If I am in Mexico, do I need to know about, the war in Ukraine? Well, yes, because it's affecting the price of bread, and it's affecting, whether I can buy a car, right? It's affecting a lot of things. But I need to understand, why that is important.
That was journalist Javier Garza Ramos. See you next time.